All right, so 11.6 applications of linear equations. All right, just give you a chance to write that title. All right, let me erase this stuff. All right, it says since the year 1900, the tiger population in India has decreased linearly. A recent study showed this decrease can be applied by this formula right here. So y equal to negative 350x plus 42,000, in which y represents the tigers left in India and x represent the number of years since 1900. So I'll give you guys a chance to write that down for those who are doing so. All right, so they gave us the equation, told us what y and x represents. So it says use the equation to estimate the number of tigers in 1960. All right, so we're going to use the equation to estimate the number of tigers in 1960. So don't forget x represents the number of years since 1900. So in order to know what x would be, we would take 1960 and minus 1900 from it. And so that means x would actually be 60. So we'll plug in 60. So negative 350 times 60 plus that 42,000 is going to be 21,000. So it's going to be estimated 21,000 tigers in India in 1960. All right, any questions? Let's scroll up. All right, B says determine the slope and intercept and its meaning. So we know when our equation is solved for y, the number that's in front of x is our slope. So our slope is negative 350. So this means that the tiger population is decreasing by 350 each year. And it's decreasing because it's negative. Now, if that was positive, that means it would be increasing by 350 each year. And so in purple, I was just emphasizing or re-emphasizing the fact that the slope is what's already attached to x. That's what's in front of x. So that's why we got that 350. So all they wanted us to do was determine the slope and interpret its meaning. All right, can I scroll up? All right, C, determine the x-intercept and interpret its meaning. So your x-intercept, y is always 0. So that's what I emphasize right here. So you take 0, plug it in for y, solve for x. So that's what we did here. End up getting 120 for x when y is 0. Talk about what it means in a second. Just giving you guys a chance to write. All right. And so the number of years after 100 is what x represents. And the number of tigers left is what y represents. So add 120 to 1900. That's 2020. It says in the year 2020, there will be no tigers left in India, according to this equation. I guess since it's 2021, we should be able to look that up and see if that's the case. But you add that 120 to 1900, because that's what x represents, the number of years after 1900. That will give you 2020. And y represents the number of tigers. So this equation states that in the year 2020, there will be no tigers left in India. All right, any questions? All right, can we go to the next one? Everybody good? All right. Next one, the monthly sales of hybrid cars sold in the U.S. are given for a recent year. The sales for the first 8 months of the year are shown in the chart. The value x equal to 0 represents January, x equal to 1 represents February, so on. So notice x equal to 0 represents January for us, not x equal to 1. X equal to 1 represents February. Then 2 would be March, and so on. All right, so I'll give you a chance to write that. All right, so X represents the month number. Once again, don't forget January is 0. Y represents the number of vehicles sold. So remember the monthly sales of hybrid cars. So we're going to write an equation that represents the monthly sales. All right, and so don't forget we're getting these values from a chart that was given to us. I didn't write the chart, just chose any two values or any 2 points on that line that they gave us in the chart. So any 2 points would have given us the correct equation. So I got 0 and 14,400, and then 5 and 23,400. All right, so next find the slope. Use those 2 points to find your slope. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. 23,400 minus 14,400 on top. 5 minus 0 on bottom. It's 9,000 over 5, which is 1,800. So that leaves us with our slope being 1,800. And we use either one of those points, X1 or Y1, but I just, X1, Y1 or X2, Y2. I just decided to use X1, Y1. All right, so now we can use our point slope formula. Y minus Y1 equal to M times X minus X1. So whenever you have a point and a slope like we do here, we can use this formula, Y minus Y1 equal to M times X minus X1, where we'll plug in for Y1, M, and X1. So it's 14,400 for Y1, 1,800 for M, and 0 for X1. Distribute this 1,800, and of course that 0 back there would just be 0. Then add 1,400 to both sides, and that'll give us Y equal to 1,800 X minus 14,400, excuse me. All right, questions on that? So in B, it says use the linear equation to estimate the number of hybrid vehicles sold in August. So if we're looking at August, remember that's our 8th month of the year, but January starts with 0. So that means you're talking about 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So that's January, February, March. And so that means August is actually going to be 7 for us since January starts with 0. All right, so take the 7, plug it into the equation. 1,800 times 7 plus 14,400 would be 27,000. All right, any questions? All right, let's look at another one. A stack of posters costs the theater $19.95 plus $150 per poster at the printer. Write this a little better. It says write an equation to compute the cost C of buying X posters. So if C is the cost and we call X the number of posters, you see that it cost the theater $19.95 plus. So that's a hint right there as to how we would set it up. $19.95 plus $150 per poster. So this would be our equation right here, $19.95 plus $150 times X. All right, questions on that? All right, so use the equation to compute the cost of 125 posters. So that means X is 125, so we take the 125, put it in our equation. So 1995 plus 1.5 times 125. Multiply those two numbers, that'll give us 187.5. Add that 1995, that's $207.45. Any questions? Oh, somebody said something. Okay, cool. Okay, that's it. So those must have been all the examples in the the section for the book and everything like that. So that's it as far as that section is concerned. So the main thing for these is to try them out, see if you get stuck, and if you have any problems, make sure you document that specific problem, whether it be take a picture with your phone, write it down, whatever the case may be, and bring that one specifically to me, because with word problems, I could pick a problem that's similar to the one that you had, but it may not be the exact same thing. And there may be specific words in the one that you're dealing with that's causing you issues, but it's not the one that I chose. So whenever you're dealing with word problems, you do want to make sure you bring that one to the table so that we can help you out, make sure you're straight. All right. So that's 11.6, the last section in chapter 11 that we are responsible for. Try this out. See if you get stuck. If you have any questions, make sure you bring them to class or hit me with an email. Remember, 11.6 is on your next test or your next block of work. 11.6, for some reason, he didn't include that with 11.1, 11.2, 11.3. That's with everything with chapter 10 stuff. So that being said, any other questions before we close? Going to this weekend. Everybody good? Everybody straight? All right, sounds good. So I'll put these videos up, or this video up with the other one from this week, either this evening or tomorrow morning. Outside of that, you guys have a great weekend. Be safe, and I will see you on Monday. You guys take care. All right, thank you.